Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever in the world you may be joining us from today. My name is Francesco Del Carpio, and I am the CFL York Operations Coordinator. I would like to officially open the third session in our Mine Action, Innovation, Sustainability, and Global Partnership speaker series. This series is presented in partnership with the Advanced Disaster and Emergency Rapid Response Simulation Lab, Subsphere Corporation, and AVO I would like to begin today with a land acknowledgement. First Nations peoples have lived on this part of Turtle Island for millennia, stewarding the land, the water, and all that contributes to life in this region. Today, the culture and presence of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples enrich the lands and peoples of this territory. More than 2 centuries ago, the Mississauga people welcomed settlers to this territory, providing sustenance and engaging in trade and commerce. Between 1781 and 1820, 8 treaties were signed with the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who opened their territory to settlement. Today, York University's Keele campus is located on Toronto Purchase Treaty No. 13 lands and is situated on the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat and Haudenosaunee. Treaty history is foundational, and it is our collective responsibility to honor the land as we honor and respect those who have gone before us, those who are here, and those who have yet to come. We are grateful for the opportunity to be learning, working, and thriving on this land, and we commit to learn the truth and be active in the process of reconciliation. As this is an online event, our participants are joining from various locations, so I strongly encourage you to learn about the traditional land upon which you are located. With this, I welcome our moderator, our speaker, and our participants from around the world. Welcome to our webinar. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our moderator today, Michel Arif. Michel Arif is an R&D coordinator at Subsphere Corporation with a strong track record in project management and the strategic application of emerging technologies for disaster risk reduction. She holds a master's degree in disaster and emergency management and has a robust background in applied geospatial technologies and climate science. Michel, thank you very much for moderating today's session and your ongoing help in putting together this series. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Francesco, for that introduction, and welcome everyone. Thank you for saying hello and where you're joining us from. Today is our third session for our Mine Action webinar series. In this series, we talk about innovation, sustainability, and global partnerships. I've had the privilege of meeting today's speaker, and I'm thrilled to have him walk you through the systems built in place and that are currently in place to test mine action technology and procedures. So today's speaker is Niklaus, Managing Director of Swiss Drone's Competence Center, the SDCC. It's a part of Switzerland's Innovation Park Ticino, a leading European hub for UAV and counter-UAV innovation, testing, and certification. It's based at Lodrino Airport. He leads the development of Europe's most advanced drone testing ecosystems, enabling the safe integration of unmanned aerial systems into complex aerospace and real-world operations. Under his leadership, the SDCC bridges industry, academia, and regulatory authorities, fostering collaboration across Switzerland and internationally to accelerate the development of cutting-edge drone technologies. Niklaus is actively involved in strategic initiatives relating to beyond visual line of sight operations and certification frameworks with a strong focus on transforming emerging technologies into operational, scalable solutions. With a background in aviation, engineering, and entrepreneurship, he brings a pragmatic, executive-driven approach to innovation, positioning drones as a key enabler for critical operations. So before we begin, just a quick note, I see everyone's saying hello in the chat box. So the Zoom chat box is open for dialogue. Feel free to share your thoughts in there and connect and comment as we go. The Q&A box is also open, so that's specifically for questions for the speakers. So if you have questions at any time, feel free to pop them in there, and I'll bring them into discussion at the end of the presentation. We also have Shahab Moini jumping in for this presentation, Director of Subsphere Corporation, and we'll let him say hello right after Niklaus gets started on his presentation. So with that, Niklaus, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Misha. Thank you all. So let me share the screen. Okay, can you all see the presentation?
It looks great.
Perfect. So nice to meet you all. I'm Niklaus, the Managing Director of the Swiss Drone Competence Center. Before jumping into the presentation, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I have a background in innovation, entrepreneurship, and also in aviation. As an experience, I have founded a few company and initiatives, and I'm still today board member in different organization. And I took the lead of the Swiss Drone Competence Center at the end of 2023, where I get a mandate from the canton to develop the new strategy of the center, which I will present later. And I have now the current focus of making the Swiss Drone Competence Center the reference one-stop facility for innovation when we are talking about drones and counter drones. And today we will focus more in how a center like this one can be helpful for demining technology made with drones. So the Swiss Drone Competence Center is part of Switzerland Innovation Park. Switzerland Innovation Park is a national network that has been created by the Swiss government. It's located all across Switzerland, and each center has its own specific field of field. And in Ticino, we are in the south side of Switzerland. For who never came across here, is let's say we call it the sunshine part of Switzerland, and this is also a key advantage for a drone competence center because we have an average of 200 flyable days per year, and we are directly connected between Zurich and also Milan with the Polytechnicum of Turin, and so strategically speaking is also one of the reasons why companies from abroad are choosing our test field or to do testing campaign, but also to set up a subsidiary in Switzerland. The main focus of Switzerland Innovation Park is to do, let's say, the match between university and companies, but I always add also between companies and companies themselves in order to promote innovation at 360 degrees. Because what we have noticed before Switzerland Innovation was created is that most of the small medium enterprises they don't have the R&D department inside because of course it costs a lot, and on the second hand they don't have really a clue how to dialogate, how to integrate with the universities and with research centers. And that's why Switzerland Innovation has been created to bridge this gap and to help innovation into small medium enterprise. So compared to other organizations at a national level, we are not focused on startups. For that, we are already several other programs, but we are mainly focused on small medium enterprises coming from the industry. In Ticino itself, we have 3 competence centers. One is for life science, the other one is for lifestyle tech, and the third one is the one that I will present today is the Swiss Drone Competence Center. So we are located in Lodrino, Riviera Airport. Riviera Airport was a former military airport that has been converted into civil airport about 3 years ago. And for a reason that I will explain later, is the only airport that received the authorization from the Federal Authority for Aviation to operate drones into an active airport. And this gave us a really strong USP to create a test site to validate technology, because on one side we identified a need from the market. There was a need, and there's still today a need to test and validate this technology in a safe and professional environment. And on the other side, we had this USP with this amazing location. And so we did the match between the two, and that's the result I will show you later. So our 3 main focus area is first to promote the R&D and scientific project between companies and university, as I said before. How we do that? We do it through members events, we do it through networking, we do it also thanks to our experts in the field that do the matchmaking between companies, between universities, and we also provide the infrastructure that when it's needed, laboratories and equipment to bring forward forward this type of R&D activities. The second focus area, which is a consequence of the first one, is to provide a testing environment that it's helping companies to validate their own technology before before going to the market. But now, if we are talking about market, we enter also in the third focus area, which is the one that it's needed for some type of drones before entering the market, which is certifications. So what we do here with the third focus area is to help and provide to the companies the guidance to fulfill all the requirements to fulfill all the certification process and to make them to accompany them during this process. So these are our three main focus areas. That's why we like to call ourselves as the one-stop facility for innovation, from the laboratory to the market, when we are talking about drone industry and also counter UAV industry. We have now the north side of the airport as an infrastructure. So from the control tower building up to the warehouse that you can see here in the picture, we are now also developing a further land in the north part of the airport, where we will build more laboratory spaces and also more office spaces, because now it's already full with companies. And we are developing really quick. If we go a bit more into details, in the control tower building, we have downstairs the meeting room and the workshop room, where companies and our member can utilize it for example, internal workshop, training sessions, or for example, also product demonstration for their own customers, so they can keep their privacy about their own products. Then in the upper floor, we have a co-working space for companies that are not physically located there, but they need maybe a desk to be there for a couple, 3 days of testing campaign. And we have also now office spaces for companies that want to open a subsidiary here in Lodrino. And but the most interesting part of it is what is on the top. So we have the control tower, which is the only control tower in Switzerland that is fully dedicated to UAV missions and drone control stations. And then on the rooftop is what we call it the technology platform, is where we give the opportunity to our members to install permanently or semi-permanently antennas, radar system, drone box, and other type of devices, so they can do continuous testing without every time they needing to install or reinstall the equipment. And this is also something that is really appreciated from our companies, because we really allow them to speed up the innovation process and cycle between the laboratory and the testing. On the warehouse part, we have now two companies that have set up two different laboratories. The first one is a company that has a lab about counter drones and drone detection. The second one is a company that relocated the production and the R&D activities from Turin in Italy to Lodrino. And as I said before, we are now setting up a larger infrastructure just beside this one, to accommodate other companies that has requested this type of installation. So when I talked about the conversion from military to a civil airport, I said that we are the only one that received this authorization to fly drones into an active airport. And this is exactly the reason why. So as you can see here, this is an aeronautical chart of Switzerland, and on the top, from left to right, from east to west, and also on the bottom, you can see the purple airspace, which are representing congested and controlled airspace. For this reason, it's legally difficult, almost impossible to fly with experimental drones in those areas. The only portion of the sky that is free from this type of airspace is the portion of the sky above the airport of Lodrino, and that was the reason why the authority accepted our request, and that's why the Swiss Drone Competence Center has been set up in Lodrino Airport. At the beginning, we have started with two different flying area. The first one was the area alpha, which we were able to fly up already to 500 meter above ground level, which is already 4 times what usually is legally allowed by Swiss law and by EASA regulations. And then we developed the area Charlie, which is meant to do speed testing and enemy drone penetration system to train the algorithm of the radar that we have installed over the rooftop, so companies can try their own algorithm with our radar system. Then we have developed the area Bravo for static type of flights, like for example endurance testing or flight school operations. What we are unlocking now is another two areas. One is we call it the Valley BVLOS area, which will extend up to 5 kilometers with an altitude of 120 meters above ground level. And we are in the process of getting the first authorization with the federal authority. And the fifth area we are now also unlocking, which will be covered by a restricted area, so we can mitigate the risk of the confliction with manned aviation, like aircraft and helicopter. It will be the Alpine Environment BVLOS testing site, which will be the highest BVLOS testing site of Europe, which will reach an altitude of approximately 3,000 meters above sea level. And we already have now cooperation ongoing with other competence center, drone center across Europe, because what I always try to push is the cooperative attitude, because it's not much more about competition between testing sites, but it's about complementary. Because, for example, we have an environment which is the Alpine environment, which is unique. But other testing sites, maybe they have the opportunity to do long-range BVLOS like 50 or more kilometers, and that we don't have this type of opportunity. And that's exactly where I see the matching between different test sites across Europe, and it's already happening. And this is a really nice movement that I can already see. From the safety point of view, we will never allow, of course, a drone that has just exit the laboratory to fly directly into the Alps. But it has to follow a step-by-step approach of the validation of the technology. So the procedure is the following one. Once the company is approaching us that want to test the technology in our test site, we do an assessment of the readiness of the technology, and accordingly to the assessment, we can then define which airspace we can already unlock, and then we can really follow the path with the customer together until the final goal, which is the Alpine environment and the certification. For the mining testing, so we have setting up an area where we can place a dummy landmine, and therefore we have mainly two activities that we can do with this type of playground. The first one is to validate the technology in landmine detection and try new algorithm, try new technology, new type of sensors. And the other activity we can also carry here about demining activity is the training. So we can also do the training. Companies that are active in this field, they can do the training for the operators and for the drones operators. And I will now give the word to Shahab Moini, which is also by the way, is also our member in the Swiss Drone Competence Center with Subsphere Corporation. That we can explain a bit more deeper what type of activity we do in this area that is highlighted in yellow in this slide.
Thank Niklaus, and hello everybody. So as Nick explained, this area is in kind of very interesting location. We have combination of different landscape, forest, water, and farm style. What we have seen in the landmine detection technologies that have been developed constantly, especially AI-based or drone-based, mostly been tested in areas similar to Ukraine. And then a lot of other part or landscape is missing, which is forest. A lot of areas contaminated by landmine as a forest area. Water body is missing. So in this area, we'll be able to have the accurate number of the testing area and locate the exact position of the dummy mines or any other kind of the UXO models that are going to be used there. And then we can set up all the procedure, protocols, data capturing, how to fly the drones, and all the data can be captured very accurately and analyzed and processed to ensure the outcome of the AI-based landmine detection is not just marketing and with the result that is looks shiny and good. So it's one side from the end user and the other side is for the technology developer. So this facility is in the secure area, provide them all the possibilities to test. And there are drones that are available in collaboration with some of the drone providers and the platform that we are using right now in Switzerland and the other part of the world as well. So the drones will be available. So technology that are drone agnostic can use the available drones there in collaboration with our partners that they provide the drones. And then there is a facility that they can process their data there. They have access to all the computing power and access to internet, anything they need. And of course, it can be simulated like a jamming area to find out how their drone will operate in this kind of condition. And then the next step will be when they do the test in the secure area, it's not a conflict zone, and they can move the models around, the mines around, and then capture the data, process it, and if they need to repeat the test, is available. So it's very easy. They can book 2 to 3 days, 4 days, or a week, depends on the amount of the work they want to do. So it's all be available. Later, we would like to expand the data that we have there and type of the models and available dummy mines or UXOs to be available in the center, which should be direct collaboration with all the groups that are involved, especially GIS, CHD. We would work with them very closely to make sure that we follow all the standards, or those one who do the test can follow the procedure and protocol that is required by IMS and any other regulatory bodies for the demining, to ensure the data is captured, processed, analyzed, and the outcome is a valid outcome, and it's not just a marketing tool. The companies that become a member of the center and have access to all the facility that is there will have access to the drones and type of the dummy equipment that we have there, so they can repeat their tests. They can record all the data, and will be even facility to keep their data on the server available there. And it becomes like a training ground for their models or for AI machine. Beside that, as Nick mentioned, the training facility is available, full-scale standard classroom that they can use to train not only the drone operator, but the data processors and the other AI team that they have, to ensure that they get all the information right and accurate. One of the main issues that we have right now from many data that we receive ourselves, most problem coming from photogrammetry and how to operate the drone. So there are a lot of good drone operators, but they don't have the background in photogrammetry or GIS to understand how the data should be captured. So this facility provide that one. We are working on some series of the GIS related and photogrammetry related courses that will be provided through the center as well to those one who want to get to this field. And we continue that progress in direct collaboration and close collaboration with all the mine action groups and those who are subject matter expert. And we integrate the feedback so the member can get together, share the data, share the outcome of the result of their test, to ensure that safety in mine detection is taken seriously into consideration. And when they have some models, we have experts as well in collaboration with universities in Switzerland and other places like York University, that data can be sent to them and they can do the processing as well to ensure their outcome is validated by the third-party unbiased group of the scientists. And that is how the center becomes the hub. So this is a great opportunity from our perspective as one of the group that constantly developing and improving our model to have access to such a facility, and it's in Switzerland, so we can easily have access to all the main players in the mine action and provide this environment to the other groups nationally, internationally, to be part of the group. So at this level, I think we can open it up to any question any participant has.
Yeah. Thank you, Shab. I have just 2 or 3 slides to finish, and then I think we can jump in the Q&A. Thank you, really, Shab. Yeah, as Shab said, it's really a great place to test technology and to validate them in a safe and professional, and also, I also would like to say in a privacy context here in Switzerland. And just a few numbers to highlight the growth of the center. When we started when I took over at the end of 2023, the center has finalized 25 flights over the whole year. Then when I took over in 2024, we passed the 200. In 2025, the 300 flights. Now in the first 3 months of the year, we already passed the 100. So this is just to show that the demand is really growing. And also, if we look in the number of the companies, we started when there was just 5 companies at the beginning of 2024, and now we are 25 company members and still growing every month. So this is to say that the vision we had was exactly the right vision. So there was a need in the market, and we had what the market was needing. And so it's really nice to see how the ecosystem is growing. And what I also really like about this ecosystem that we are creating is that it's really a dynamic ecosystem. So I can see many companies that work with other companies inside the Competence Center, promoting innovative projects together, creating new business opportunities. And what is also interesting that more and more companies are also coming from abroad, not only from Switzerland. And this is also part of the Swiss politics to attract technology and innovative companies in Switzerland, because as I explained before, we have a really favorable innovation ecosystem here in Switzerland. I want to finish my presentation with a short video, and then we can start with the Q&A. Okay, so this is all for me. Thank you, really, Misha, for the opportunity. I'm here to answer some questions. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Niklaus and Shahab, for that detailed walkthrough for the SDCC. It's really nice to see its many, many capabilities and testing. I'm sure the audience found it very insightful, and I'm sure they have lots of questions. So let's just jump right into it. The first question comes from Yuri. Are there any projects for GNSS denied flights? So visual, inertial, CRPA, etc. This is currently an emerging challenge for mine action, restricting drone usage in EO-affected areas, in particular in Ukraine. So such solutions are in high demand amongst operators.
Yes, we do have 3 companies that are really actively working on this type of solution, together with a local university that has a really huge expertise in AI. And yes, it's a hot topic. That's really a good question. We are also setting up a system that is it's a ground-based navigation to help to test this type of GPS denied mission. So yes.
Yeah, perfect. The next question comes from Emmett, who says that he's produced 110 3D printed PFM replicas for testing and evaluation following a large data collection campaign in Rochester, New York, RIT, and conducted in collaboration with the Royal Military Academy of Belgium. Would it be possible to bring these test objects to your site? Additionally, we operate a university drone lab with platforms capable of carrying multi-sensor payloads, so SAR and HSI, MSI, thermal, LiDAR. Would it also be permissible to bring one of our drones along with the pilot to conduct flights in your airspace?
So the short answer is yes, but it's all depend about then which procedure we need to select about the type of the drones. For example, if the drones is below 25 kilos, we can give the permission to fly by ourselves without passing by through the authority. If the drones is over 25 kilos, then in this case, you need to have a specific operation risk assessment before starting the flight test mission. And in those cases, we do help the companies to obtain the SORA with the Federal Office for Civil Aviation. And about the import question, it's all depend about the drone because there are some well-defined regulation about import and export of drones and dual-use goods. And for this matter, we usually follow the companies from abroad. We follow them with the SECO, which is the Federal Office for Import and Export here in Switzerland, case by case. So we do give the assistance to fulfill the needed process to do the import and export of drones.
Perfect.
Yeah, and if I may add regarding the replica, yes, that's how we are looking at it and envisioning that the companies like you become a member of the Drone Competence Center so they can bring the replica. And then one is the promotion of what you have there, and the other one provide the opportunity that you collaborate with the other groups that they need. So I think it's a very straightforward procedure. You become a member of the center, and then you can bring your replica there to be used as a test unit. And if anything else is coming up from the field that we find recently that has not been previously existed, so we can send the information to you that you create a replica and add to the stockpile of the data that we have there and the inventory.
Yeah. Another thing that I didn't mention before, one of the reasons why companies from abroad are attracted to our test field is not only for the reason I mentioned before, but it's also because when you are able to validate a drone into the alpine environment, which is a really harsh environment in terms of temperature, strong winds, GPS that is not really functional, and RF communication, which is difficult. So, and all this let's say aspect of the alpine environment, once the technology it's rated, it's proved in the alpine environment, then it means that the technology is virtually ready to go everywhere else in the world. So that this is also why companies from abroad are approaching us.
Perfect. Yeah, it sounds like it's an international hub. So short answer, yes. I think long answer you've given. And then if you guys have additional questions, you can definitely email Niklaus as well. The next question, similar to what we were just talking about, how common and accessible are similar testing grounds in Europe and elsewhere? I guess what makes this unique. how is it unique compared to other alternatives? I think you've already mentioned it, but if you want to touch on it again.
Yeah, so there are just a few test centers across Europe. The main test center are four. So one is in Spain, is the Barcelona Drone Center, with which we cooperate, and they have a really long range BVLOS capacity. Then there is another one in north of Germany. Another one is in Denmark. Those are the Swiss Drone Competence Center. These are the four main testing sites. Then there are some minor testing fields that are mostly related to local universities.
Okay, perfect. Anonymous question: does the center allow for testing jamming technologies? If so, what are the restrictions for that?
So jamming technology, if we talk about the jammer himself, is considered a weapon system in Switzerland. So it's not possible to activate the jamming device inside an airport. But anyway, we still have several companies that are testing in our test site counter drone solution, but they go from identification to reconnaissance of the drone through radar techniques or visual identification with high powerful cameras and different type of algorithm. So they can go up to identification of the enemy drones. For the jamming, they cannot activate it for the reason I said before. And but we have now in the process of opening another testing field like 2 kilometers from the airport, where it will be possible to test impact drones. So there are now several companies that are developing drones to target other drones. And of course, we cannot do this type of testing over an airport for safety reason. And that's why we have identified now a field 2 kilometers from the airport. We are now setting up what is needed to get the proper permissions. And shortly, we will open up this area for to do impact drones and also parachute opening testing and other type of different testing.
Perfect. Thank you. I just want to follow up on Emmett's question about benchmarking issues in regards to Robert's question. Sorry, just 1 second. Is that the one about 25 kilograms?
Yeah, so Emmett followed up that their drones would be well below 25 kilograms to your answer, Nicholas.
Yeah.
Yeah, to what you were speaking about the restrictions for the drones. So
Yeah.
maybe that
So
makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's not really a restriction. It's just a different procedure because we have companies that are flying in Lodrino with drones that are 120 kilos. It's just a matter of procedure. The threshold of 25 kilos is a threshold that under 25 kilos we are allowed to give the permission by ourselves without passing through the authority. That's the key point. And therefore we can give the permission in 24 hours to fly, and that's really speed up the process. If it's a heavier drone, then it need to go through the SORA process. But again, once the SORA permission is obtained, then the lead time to book the airspace is exactly the same as the one of the 25 kilos. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. That clarifies it. I think hopefully a bit more for you, Emmett. And then Bob Keeley, who's actually our speaker for the next session, is here. He's been watching the presentation and he has a couple of questions, but also just on Emmett's question, he touched on the issue of benchmarking when you bring your own replicas. Do you want to expand on that a little bit? Do you want to touch on I guess the challenges of people bringing their own replicas, if that is a concern?
I didn't really understand the question.
So it was just regarding Emmett's question about bringing the replicas of the unexploded ordnances. Rob Keeley just added that one of the issues with bringing your own replicas is also benchmarking. Do you want to touch on that a little bit as well, on the challenges that might be faced when people bring their own replicas for testing, if there is, or is that something that's like more common and not really an issue for you?
It's kind of common because as you can imagine now, we 25 companies that are members, but We have also companies coming to test that are not member, and so we have really several different type of drones and technology flying there, and it can be an issue. It depends also about the intention of the people that are coming there. But usually, what is nice to Lodrino is that when we book the airspace, they're dedicated for that single company, and the other company don't have direct access on the mission. So there is a privacy that is guaranteed in these terms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
regarding the replica, Bob, we look at those stuff that they meet the standard. They are the one that have been approved, and that type of the mines or UXOs replica are or have some form of the certification. We will discuss with the subject matter expert like you, and Pedro is here from GICHT as well. Maybe Pedro wants to have some word on that one to make sure they are not just built by a company to come to the market or use. They meet and they represent the standard of the replica mines to be used for training the models at this level.
I
Yeah,
think
so Bob has a couple of follow-ups there. Approved by who and approved how? So I
great
don't know
questions.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's what something we have to look at it as we are looking at which groups, which companies replicas been used and approved, for example, by the US military or by the Canadian military or those militaries or the mine action that they use that replica for the training officially. They are built, approved, and used. So we look at that type of replica to be integrated into the center at this level. But we are open for any suggestion. As Nick mentioned, it is the initiative started just now. So we are open to any suggestion, any guidelines, any help and assistance that how we make sure we meet the standard that is required.
Perfect. So another question comes in from one of our audience members. What type of drones are you using and what models? Also, what software for photogrammetry? I'm not sure if there's specific ones that they're using or general ones that are offered center.
So there are really many type of different drones and different type of payload, because you have to imagine that each company is developing his own product. And for example, we have a company that is producing a drone, then maybe there is another company that is producing the payload, and maybe the two match together and they test together the combination of the two systems. So we don't really have a specific type of drones. We have from quadcopter to VTOL to helicopter style company drones. We're really there are so many.
And from the software part, we don't provide the software. The companies who are developing the software can come to the center and do all the testing. They do data capturing and improve their model, do all the processing that they need to make sure that the data is correct, the model is functional. So we don't provide the software. There are, of course, will be later some system that has been tested and approved, and we send it to the authorities, to expert and organization are in charge of it that get their feedback, and later stage we might use one or two system to use for training if they are functional. There are all this condition is strongly and restricted there.
Yeah, you have to imagine that the Swiss Drone Competence Center is an open sky sandbox where companies and university can test and validate technologies. Yeah. And so we're really open to any type of solutions, and where we can and when we can, we help them to achieve the desired target and achievement.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's a really good way to say it. It's a sandbox for the sky. To go back to Robert Keeley's questions, he's asking how many users, I guess on average, are from the Mine Action Center specifically, or do you have a variety of different sectors that are coming to test here at the SDCC?
As for today, we have two companies that are our members that are actively in this field. One is Subsphere Corporation, and the second one is SIATI. And then we have a few drone producers that are now just starting to enter into this field as a drone providers. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bob, for the Mine Action Group, we are now talking with the Mine Action Group to bring them there and have them as a collaborators. So we contact several Mine Action groups that this facility is available. We would like them to be on board as a subject matter expert to look at even the testing procedure to make sure the situation they face in the ground can be tested here as well, and we get direct feedback from them. So it's a progress, and we can discuss about it because I have a couple of questions for you later.
Perfect. Okay, so the next question is, are any of the results available? So when they do test out these procedures and processes, specifically for mine action, are they available, and what targets are you using?
So I must say the result will be available. So for us, talking from our own side, whatever test we do, we will open it to the Mine Action Group and the subject matter expert to check the data, make sure what they see, is it even valid or not. So, and of course, it depends on different companies. They want to show their data or not, but that will be part of the discussion that we have with different companies who want to do the test, that this data need to be validated by subject matter expert. And that is the opportunity in the center that we have expert on board to look at the data, look at the processing system. And as Nick mentioned, it's not just about the drone. We have like a CIT on board that they are all AI machine learning specialists. We have different companies are involved deeply in the model and data processing, so they can process the data. Of course, if the company wants for us, we are open, they process the data. We are looking for any problem or any issue that we have, and we'll be happy to receive the feedback from any group that what is working, what is not working, what is missing.
Perfect, great. Yeah. If you wanted to go ahead and talk about what the questions you had for Niklaus, you can go ahead and do that as well. Shahab, were you saying that you want to?
Yeah, there's something for Bob and other experts and organization individuals that we would like to see if there is a chance that we get a list of the groups that they create this type of the replica mines or UXO, so we can contact them directly, or if they can connect us with them or they connect them with us. We need subject matter expert feedback on that. The facility is there, the land is there, testing facility, training facility. So we are looking to bring all the people together there, work with the bigger organization, of course, follow all the procedure and protocols to make sure that is a Swiss-based center that everybody globally can use this center and bring it up. So any feedback, Bob, my question was those one that you work with them, which of them do you recommend? Which of them do you think that are the better models or replica compared to the others? And it's at this stage is only for this kind of the AI based thing. Thanks a lot. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, the bigger we build the community around this topic, the greater result we will achieve, and to cooperate all together toward a single objective is always a winning solution, in my opinion.
Definitely, yeah. This is the space to come together and collaborate, and we can use our different strengths to tackle these issues. If there's any other questions, the chat box is still open. Fantastic. I guess Pedro's also in this chat, but have you guys collaborated with the GICHD, the Geneva International Center for Humanitarian Demining? Is that something that's in the works, or something that you're looking forward to or have discussed in the past?
So from our side, as somebody who work on this, so yeah, GICHD is like the main umbrella that we would like to work under it. I think Nick had planned to reach and discuss with them as well about the possibilities. But yeah, definitely. So GICHD and the whole thing is with the New York University and the GICHD. Any training, any data capturing process and everything from our side, at least somebody work on that one. We would like to send it to the technical committee that GICHD has. and the result will be open to them. They can test. We will provide all the funding, the process protocols to them, so it can be validated, reviewed, and we will be so happy to get the feedback. GICHT and UNOMS are essential to have on board. And this is not really something that we create in parallel. This is just a facility to fill the gap that is in the market and is in the technology development group right now.
Perfect. Another question comes in from Henry. Are you working towards a certification?
Certification for testing this process is not what we do. This is much deeper discussion. I think they have talked with Pedro about it directly, because we are not part of certification. We just can say that the methodology is correct, the data have been correct, collected correctly, processing is correct, the outcome is correct, it's not Photoshop or kind of cleaned and all that stuff, and we provide it. That will be the transparency, because it's a matter of safety for the people who are affected by these UXOs. But no, we are not in the certification, and I'm not aware about how the certification can be globally, because different mine action have their own procedure and their own certification, but that's a question for GICHD, I think.
Perfect, thank you. So we have about 4 minutes left of this webinar. We can take some time to say thank you to all our audience members for joining us today, and thank you to our panelists for sharing this information. Thank you, Shahab, for bringing in the insights for Subsphere, and thank you, Niklaus, so much for your incredible presentation. I think we all know a lot more about the SDCC than we did before, and we'll be reaching out to you on LinkedIn and the other. If you want to put your contact information up on the screen again, I'm sure we can note it down for those that are interested, and hopefully there's much more collaboration coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you also from my side. Really, if you have some idea, some need, please just drop by or send me an email. I'll be glad to help you all. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. I can add is just Center is an open hub for everybody who would like to enjoy the available environment, that they can test their technology, come up with ideas, share their ideas, and get in hands and practical feedback from the other groups that are working there.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I just also want to just say a quick thank you to Nick and Shahab for the presentation. Thank you, Michelle, again, always for moderating and helping us put the session together. Thank you to everyone in the audience for attending. And I did share our social media and our YouTube channel in the chat, so you can see the recording of this session should be up by tomorrow. And if you have any questions, I also shared my email address in the chat, so you can also email me and I can pass your questions along to Nick or to any whoever might be most relevant if you have questions about our previous presentations, which are recorded as well. And then just one final reminder that this is a monthly series. So our next session is on Thursday, May 21st with Bob Keeley, who's been here in the chat. So if you guys have any more questions for Bob or you want to come see his presentation, please mark that on your calendar. And please always do share this with anyone who might not be registered yet, but would be interested in the topic, as our registration is always open and free until the very end. So with that, thank you all so much. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you so much, everyone.